Trunk hitting hard when I swing through H-time. Cup full of oil and an orange kush sweet. Cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and body rocking cause the south side ho. DJ Screw got me falling asleep. This is how we do it in that 713.
Welcome to Sports with Balls. Here are your hosts, Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, and Grant Miles.
Welcome into Sports with Balls, everybody.
You went straight to it. You didn't ease into it. You just went straight into it. I like it.
I mean, hey, we got to bring the energy tonight. I know everyone's like a little hungover from the Halloween weekend.
It's 6:30 and it's dark outside. Like, what's up with that?
There's that too.
I think everybody is hungover. I'm not. True fact, I didn't have a sip of alcohol this entire weekend.
Good for you.
Depends on how you look at that, but yeah,
awesome.
Good for me. Kids, Halloween, whatever. But it was fun. Halloween was fun. Hope all you guys had a good time. This is Jeff Michael, Lauren Leal, Grant Miles, Sports with Balls. 6:30 coming to you from Christian's Tailgate on 5114 Kirby, man. We're excited.
That's right. We were talking about our Halloween weekends, and Grant
what up,
and I had
Lucas?
busy ones, but Grant, you said you were driving all over the place.
Yeah, when you got
you
kids.
You get to have fun?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, we had a good time. I mean, kids make it fun. We took the little one, 11-year-old, trick-or-treating. But, man, I will say this, though. When you go out at this past weekend, it was disappointing.
Why?
Just because it was nothing like it normally is.
Yeah.
There were trick-or-treaters out everywhere.
With the 19.
Yeah,
we threw a party, and there were trick-or-treaters out everywhere.
Well, I guess it depends on the neighborhood you went to, but normally, Jeff can say this, from a kid's standpoint, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, usually.
I just didn't see that as much.
I live all the way in the back of a cul-de-sac, though. It's like no kids come all the way back in the back. I'm like the house that all the kids stay away from, I guess.
But you do have like two little girls or something that live next door.
Yeah, there's like 9 kids that are my kids' age, and they all dress up and go fun. I didn't have to leave the house.
I have 9 kids that are my kids.
No.
I thought you were about to say that. Like,
that would have been
amazing.
If you
have 9
meet those
kids, they are your kids.
Yeah. What's up, Lucas? What's up, Austin? Lots to get into tonight, man. We're going to recap what happened over the weekend for you guys. Some NCAA, a lot of NFL stuff, and a couple of cool stories, man. Let's get into it. 2-minute drill brought to you by Joe Applewhite, Applewhite Realty, 713-291-5270. Looking for a place to move? Joe is your man. Making the impossible possible. Joe Applewhite, 713-291-5270. What you got, Lauren?
As always, thank you, Joe. I wonder if he was moving this weekend.
Joe, I know, was kidless this weekend, and I don't think he did much.
That's what's funny when you don't have the kids.
I know, you would think.
I know, you don't have the kids. You're
you
like,
think
oh,
you'd
I
be
can
balls to
relax.
the wall.
Like, oh, yeah, no kids. Let's rock it out.
I told y'all I started a Netflix show, Marco Polo, and then y'all told me about The Haunting what?
Oh, The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yeah, The Haunting of the Hill House or something like that. That's
Hill House is the first one, and The Bly Manor is the second one. Oh, so good, so good.
Check them out, they're good.
That's right. Tonight we got our boy Nico with us.
Yeah.
Johnny J Party Too Hard. I'm just kidding. I don't know where Johnny
y'all
J
told
is,
me I didn't
but
see
Nico's
this outfit.
with us.
Lucas, if you're watching, you might have caught this outfit that Johnny had on. I didn't get to see this picture of it.
It was.
Oh boy, he was.
It was.
He was out there.
I don't know words.
Johnny,
for it.
and I can't believe he's here. The Giants are playing tonight too. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
That's right. It's time for the 2-minute drill. Nico, where my whistle at? Boom, let's go. So Jake Luton, anyone know that name? He is projected to start for the Jaguars over Gardner Minshew due to his thumb.
You okay?
Yeah.
You all right?
I didn't even think about. Does he? Well, hold on. Does he have a mustache?
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean,
is there a picture of him? Did you send one?
Yep. He got a little bit of facial hair. It'll be up here in a minute, but he's got a little bit of facial hair. So yeah, we'll see him play against the Texans and Deshaun Watson. We'll see what they bring this coming up Sunday.
God, I wonder what the spread is on that. The Texans actually are favored probably by a lot to win that one.
We'll see. They're on the road.
I'm gonna check that out.
It's in Jacksonville.
Look it up before we get to it.
We'll see. And then some guys out for the 49ers. The big one, QB, Jimmy.
What's new?
G, I know, right? So we know George Kittle with his foot could be out to 8 weeks projected. Jimmy G for 6 weeks due to a high ankle sprain. So that kind of sucks for them.
They have $80 million on the IR list right now.
Oh.
What? And God, that is,
and I feel bad for
that
them,
is
man.
insane, bro.
They started playing well the last couple weeks.
Right.
Beat New England handily.
Yep.
I thought they were going to play better against Seattle
I did too.
than they did. I thought they were going to perform a little bit better this past weekend. But yeah, look, 49ers I don't care anything about, so whatever.
Dude.
But just for them, I think
$80
I
million.
know. Coming-
$80 million
Yeah.
on IR in cap space for them.
Coming off
Whoa.
a trip to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, yeah. So, and then you got the Tagovailoa.
Tua and Tualia Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa.
What did you say?
Tagovailoa?
Tagovailoa. Yeah.
Tua and
Well,
Tualia.
the brothers, okay? The brothers both had winning weekends. It's really cute. There's a picture of them, too. So,
Yeah, that's the way we look at it. It's super cute.
Yeah, it's a cute picture.
So
It is.
Tua's brother, he threw for 3 touchdowns and added 2 to that on the ground. So for Maryland in the win over Minnesota, 45-44. And then Tua, of course, won as well and threw for only 93 yards and had a touchdown versus the Rams, 28-17, which we will get into that game a little bit later
Dude,
on.
Tualia, his little brother looked phenomenal. I mean,
Hey, that's a big win, Maryland over Minnesota.
Yeah, and
Minnesota's
in a
pretty
big
good.
game, dude, he
Yeah.
crushed them.
By
I mean,
one.
he had a hell of a game, man. So
Yeah.
I mean,
keep
yeah,
your eye
putting
out
up
for him.
5.
Keep your eye out for Tualia
Oh yeah,
Tagovailoa.
look, there's that picture. It's so cute. Look at them. look at how cute they look.
I told you they're all, they're together, looking all cute, hugging one another. So, crazy story. Jeff and I were talking about this before the show started.
Yes.
So, John Lester, pitcher for the Cubs, he now is a free agent, which there are some rumored discussions that another contract's going to be formed for him. Well, anyways, over Halloween weekend, he spent $47,000 on beers for Chicago Cubs fans. On his possible
This is pretty
goodbye.
crazy. I
Yeah,
didn't hear
so
about that.
between Friday and Saturday, that included $31,082 on Miller Lights and $16,012 in gratuity. That's 34% of a tip.
Yeah, he basically, since they won, 5 years ago, they broke the curse. 5 or 6 years ago, they broke the curse. Ever since then,
That was in my history. today.
over this weekend, he will. Can't wait to get to that. Oh,
Yeah.
and so on the weekends, every weekend since then, so he does this thing where there's 4 separate bars, and he buys all the Miller Lights. You can walk in and order Miller Lite, and he'll pay for all of it. So he's up over $100,000. He does every year, but pretty badass. And then 34% gratuity.
34%
Yeah, I
was
mean,
the
just
tip.
it's.
Well,
Exactly.
considering his last contract
Yeah,
with the Cubs
112,
was 6
was it?
years, $155 million.
$155.
I think
He
he can
can
afford
spare
that.
a few, right?
Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, he loves the city of Chicago. Just thought that was pretty cool.
That's right. That's the 2-minute drills that I got for you. But Jeff, you had one to add to that.
Which one was I going to talk about? I forget now which
You
one.
had
we were
one.
gonna-
You had one you wanted to add to that, and
on Facebook,
There you go.
found today. If you go to our Sports with Balls page, look us up, Facebook at Sports with Balls on Facebook, Instagram, everything. This guy just today. Did the internet go out again?
No, I don't think so. I think we're going.
No,
well, my internet's not working, but I didn't know if that was me.
I'm refreshing. If y'all can see us, say something, but it says refreshing again. Another thing happened where this guy traded his $300 pair of Jordans for a brand new full-bred German Shepherd puppy.
Oh, I love it.
Well, how much normally does a puppy like that cost?
That's right.
Well, I mean, it was $300 for the Jordans, so he goes, will you take a pair? The guy had it on, obviously, on one of the apps for
Yeah.
whatever. And the guy's like, will you take a pair of $300 Jordans? And sure enough, made a
Wow.
fair trade.
That's awesome, dude. That's what you want a puppy when you get. I mean, what my question would be, how many of those Jordans does he have though?
Yeah, obviously.
Because people just,
You wanted a
especially if they're
German Shepherd.
collectors, they don't like to give up their shoes like that.
So if you guys follow us on Sports with Balls on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, we're everywhere. Just follow us on all of them. iVox.
Follow it all.
Yeah, pretty soon, NBC, Fox, whatever. You guys
There
just
you
let us
go.
know. CBS.
I love it. Let's do it.
do
Let's
that.
go.
Yeah.
Take us there, Jeff.
Let's get to some
All
NFL.
right, so getting to NFL tonight, the Bucks take on the Giants. Johnny J, like you said, is not here. Huge New York fan,
Yeah.
so we'll see what they do against the Buccaneers. So the Bucks are sitting at 5-2. Giants with only 1 win on the season, same record as the Texans, 1-6. So, like I said, we'll see what the Giants, even if they try to respond or even get the go-ahead against Brady and the Bucks.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this is going to be one of those games where you have the best against the worst. You know, you got the best offense against one of the worst, where you're going to have one of the best defenses against one of the worst offenses. You're going to have Tom Brady against Daniel Jones. You're going to have this stellar defense against a really, really bad, struggling Giants team, and especially somebody like Daniel Jones who likes to give up the football. The Bucs like to take it away.
Well, you fed right into one of my bets for this evening. The over-under on interceptions for him is 0.5, right?
Oh, I'd take the over on that.
Because they're going to be playing from behind a lot, you would think. I would definitely take the over for
Correct.
that. Another good one, obviously Tampa minus 13. And Leonard Fournette over 2.5 receptions. I would go way over
can't
that.
believe it's
He's been playing a lot. Fournette's been playing a lot, and it's 2.5 receptions and the over at 20 yards. I take both of those.
You have 14. I have it minus 12.5. Who do you get?
I
that
said
through?
I said 14. I meant 13.
Okay. Well, I have minus 12. Yeah, Tampa Bay minus 12. Well, mine was 12.5, and so I would jump all over that. The only thing they have out is Godwin. That's the only significant player they have out. Other than that, everybody's playing.
Brady's at an all-star level right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, as we're looking at right now, 34 turnovers. That's the second most in the NFL for
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
For the last 2 seasons. I mean, that dude fumbles the football and he throws it away. Like, that's just
I
what
mean,
he
is
does.
this Jameis Winston?
No, he's not Jameis Winston in relation to interceptions, but when it comes to just, man, that dude cannot hold on to the football. He fumbles it. He fumbles it so much.
I posted something about that yesterday
Yes,
on Sports with Balls about how
correct.
many turnovers he had compared to, I forgot who it was compared to, but one of them is you would consider a super Daniel Jones, and somebody else you would consider terrible. I'll have to look it up on who I posted it about.
Yeah.
I
but
just pray that he
turnover city
I pray that he actually gets a good run on him and that he doesn't trip.
again. Yeah.
And he just goes
Giant.
and goes.
And we'll
and
see.
goes.
Well, that's the other
Goes to the
thing too. He
house.
can't stand up straight.
Yeah, and this defense is no joke. You might have the best 2 linebackers playing in the NFL right now, at least. So Tampa, I mean, almost bet across the board on Tampa Bay on this one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think this is even. You almost hesitate just because you're like,
Is
there's
it a
no
tra-
way this
is
is
this a
going to.
trap
Yeah,
game?
you're like, this isn't going to be close. But I mean, just comparing the two, like, it's no comparison. I mean, it could be.
Do you see
It could
the
get ugly.
Do you see the depth chart coming out?
If Eli Manning was playing because of the Super Bowl and Eli's beaten Brady a couple of times, I would be like hesitant. But this Daniel Jones is no Eli Manning, and yeah, I'd jump all over almost everything that Tampa Bay has out there. Leonard Fournette over 2.5 receptions, over 20 yards. Daniel Jones over 0.5 interceptions, and I'd jump all over the minus 13 or minus 12.5 in your case, or the minus 7 first half. I'd even go that.
Just so you know, Daniel Jones has played in 20 games the last 2 years. So 20 games. He's fumbled the ball 23 times.
Oh man,
23
Daniel Jones, if you're
times.
please do not listen to this podcast.
Yeah, no, he's warming up. He's not listening.
I mean,
But you don't need to tell him. That cat knows he fumbles the ball a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be happening here in just a little bit, and we'll be working on talking to you all the way up until it kicks off. Now we're looking to what happened yesterday and over the weekend. The Bills versus the Patriots, 24-21, and we got lots to say about this game as the Bills advance another win on the season, 6-2. The Patriots fall 2-5. Never thought you would say this in this lifetime. It's crazy to say. So we got Stephon Diggs looking great. Zach Moss dragging guys into the end zone. But then you got Justin Zimmer. He definitely spoke for the Bills and in his defensive play, knocking the ball out of Newton's hands, which basically sealed the deal whenever
That was
safety.
ugly.
God, dude, this
Dean
guy.
Marlowe
Cam Newton went from the top of the mountain to the bottom so fast.
Yeah.
He did.
I mean, the first 2 games of the season, he looked like Superman again, right? He was even doing the Superman pose.
He did.
Pats were just Patriots, and everybody's jumping all over Cam Newton, like, look, and how Bill Belichick, still had it, and no Tom Brady, they're doing fine. Whoa. I mean, talk about a drop. And he's, Cam Newton over some press conferences blames himself for all this, which he should, man. He looks like crap. He fumbled the ball, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know if this is the Pats doing a comeback or the Bills just blowing this game. They should have blown them out. This shouldn't have even been close, and they just couldn't close the door on them.
I think the team that looks like they're the team to beat, which is crazy to say this, in the AFC East right now, the way they're playing, is the Miami Dolphins.
Well, that's what,
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
Buffalo Bills, I think, they just don't look great. I mean, they just don't. They don't
they
look
look like
a team
an
that's
average team.
They don't look like a team that should be leading a division.
Yes.
And luckily for them, like Cam Newton fumbles that ball. If Cam Newton doesn't fumble that ball, they got a chance to win that game.
Who's the
And
worst?
New England's not very good right now.
Who's the worst 6-2 or 5-3? Are the Bills the most average team or the Bears?
Right now, I would say the Bears.
Yeah.
I would say the Bears just strictly because, well, I don't know, because the defense on the Bears is really good.
Well,
with keeping them winning.
going back to the Patriots, I just feel like they've lost their identity on like both sides of the ball. Like they can't get anything going. And how do they even gain back this season after 4 losses now? Like,
well, and that'll be what the key is moving forward for the Patriots. How do you handle this kind of adversity? Because for the longest years, for the longest time, they haven't had to worry about this. Like they've played really well. Like I said, the first time in this last game when they lost their 3rd game, the first time since 2002, then they lost that many games in a row. That's
Right.
crazy. So it'll be interesting to see how Belichick. It was funny on the press conference. A guy asked him, whenever Bill gets asked really stupid questions, they're like, "So what do you think after this game?"
I know where you're going.
And he was like, "Well, how do you think we feel about it?"
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Well, Coach, like, where are you at as far as after he fumbled that football and now you've lost 4 in a row?" And he's like, "What do you think? How do you think we feel?"
Hey, we're frozen.
yeah.
We're skipping a ton, and we're frozen.
Skipping a ton and we're frozen because we're DJ mixing the shit out of this.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I mean, it says we're bad right now.
Bad?
Bad.
Yeah, like,
yes,
can't
frozen
even-
now.
Yeah.
SHIT.
I think we're about to get kicked off.
SHIT.
I didn't even mean to do that.
What plug-in do you do it back there? It seems to happen a lot. Like Johnny's go straight through. Are you plugging into the right one back there? I
Yeah,
don't
are
know.
you plugging in?
Plugging?
Plugging into the right wall socket.
Oh, whichever one. You might be plugging into the lower. I don't know. But no, I mean, it can't be that because it's. I don't know. But, I mean, there's no point in us keeping the show going if it's like, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, our number dropped as far as
yeah.
people that were watching.
Sorry, guys. We're having technical difficulties on the show at the moment. Going to try to fix it real quick.
Fix it.
Yeah, I mean, we're.
At the point summary.
Oh, that sucks.
How are we now, guys? You're good? Are we good? We going? We good?
We good? We
All right.
good?
We good?
We'll try this again.
Hello.
Hello.
We're going to try again.
Sorry, we've had some technical difficulties, some
Internet issues.
situations.
Intranet.
Part of live television.
Yep.
It happens.
Part of live internet.
Austin's comments hilarious.
DJ Screw.
Thanks for staying with us or just now tuning in. We're
Yeah.
going through some Sunday games, what happened this weekend, leading all the way up until Monday Night Football, where Bucks and Giants kick off. So we're talking about the Bills and the Patriots, and I ask this again: is this the final answer after having 4 straight losses for the Patriots? We have figured out the answer of the Brady made Belichick, Belichick made Brady. Is it resolved?
No, because you don't know how. I mean, 1 year's 1 year. You can't say.
It's
say
8 games.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say no. I still look. One thing you have to consider when it comes to the Patriots, everything that they've gone through this season, they've gone through losing your quarterback to COVID, basically not practicing. They had how many guys on their defense starters that opted out this season?
There were 12 guys that opted at the very beginning of the season.
That aren't playing. You have injuries, like every team does in the NFL. I get all that, but man, I
Sounds
tell you
to me
what.
like a lot of excuses.
Belichick.
No, I
Belichick
don't think
will-
it's excuses. I
this
think
is-
it's legit.
People think that this is a plan by Belichick.
I think
this is
the
all a
reason-
plan. Yeah.
Well,
You
and that could be
say
too.
that like, oh, you think
Yeah.
they're going to tank this season, and we're like, no, like that's not what Belichick does.
No, I think he is.
Well, I don't think use the word tank as much
Yeah.
as not try as hard.
Yeah, you don't tank in football. He's just like, oh, you're sick today? Cool. You can sit out this week.
Yeah,
You're good to go.
You said your ankle's bothering you? Go ahead, sit out the rest of the season.
Are we
Doesn't matter.
at the Cowboys game yet?
No, we're not.
We're not there- we're not there
yet. We are
No,
not there yet. No,
We'll get there.
One of the fun
I got
games.
a good field goal kicker.
One of the fun games that we definitely want to touch on is the Steelers versus Ravens, 28-24 win. Steelers pulled it out. They are perfect on the season, while the Ravens have another loss, 5-2. So the Steelers remain perfect. Lamar Jackson had a career high of 4 turnovers yesterday. Jackson isn't impressive like he was last year at all, not looking like the MVP caliber that he was. Roethlisberger, 21 for 32 for 182 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I got something better for you.
Yeah.
Total yards.
Bring it up.
Total yards, 547 for Baltimore. Rushing yards, 265. First downs, 25. Time of possession, over 35 minutes. And they lost.
Crazy.
I mean, you think if you rush for 265 yards on the ground on any team, your time of possession, first of all, would be more, and you would definitely win the game.
Yeah.
The thing is, Lamar Jackson's completion percentage has just gone down the tubes, and that goes to the 4 turnovers too. But when you talk about just that, the rushing, you got to go back to the basics here. You got to go back to putting the ball through the air and having those targets and having it in their hands.
Yep.
And he's just not doing that.
Well, he had 3 fumbles, 2 of them lost. Like you said, he had that pick 6 to start off the game, which was I wanted to watch that game, and I was watching it and saw him throw that pick 6. Man, when it comes to the big-time games that he has, the really Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Tennessee last year in the playoffs.
It's like his head.
I think it is. I think a lot of it's mental with him. I think
part of his deal is big games.
And I think he feels like he gets out there, he has something that he has to prove, and it just doesn't work out for him.
His career right now, as of right now, over the past, even including last year, he had his freshman year, sophomore year, won the MVP. This is his junior year, 57% completion.
No, he's not.
You need to be in the 60s to be an NFL quarterback, for sure. I mean, and 57%, that's not going to do it.
No, that's not going to do it. Not at all. And when you're throwing the football as much as he is, I don't know. I feel like somehow Baltimore's gone away from what made them really successful last year, and I think they feel like he's maturing. So they're trying to give him more opportunities to pass the football, and it's just not working out. They just need to go back to their game plan last year and follow that.
I felt like these teams would be flip-flopped. I felt like Baltimore would be undefeated. Steelers would still be good, but not undefeated, you know? I feel like their records should be flip-flopped at the very beginning of the season. I knew the Steelers would be good, but 7-0, and, man, if you look at their schedule, it's fairly easy. The Steelers, I mean, they might have a pretty easy run at the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I want to talk about that in a minute with the games coming up. So the Steelers play the Cowboys, Bengals, and Jaguars, and then they meet again with the Ravens in Thanksgiving, right? And who knows if they'll still have a perfect record or not. But going back to the quarterback talk, do we put all of the pressure on the quarterbacks for losing this game, a.k.a. Lamar Jackson, in their territory?
Whether it's fair or not, that's just what the natural thing is going to be.
That's why they make the big money.
And especially
why they lost
He's
the game?
MVP of the league.
I think.
Reigning.
Is he why they
100%.
lost the game?
Yes,
well,
100%. The same reason Cam fumbled at the end and New England can't put all the blame on him. I mean, all the blame does eventually lie with your quarterback, no matter what, like Grant just said, no matter what it is, fair or unfair, quarterbacks generally 85% of the time win or lose you the game.
Well, and to Jeff's point, the only thing I'd say is that defense that was supposed to be really good for Baltimore yesterday didn't help out very much. Now, for Lamar, they had 4 turnovers. He was responsible for all 4 of them. So that's him. What hurts in football? Takeaways.
Turnovers.
And they took the ball away,
conversions.
And that was him. But I don't think the defense helped out very much. I mean, when you look at the stats, Pittsburgh didn't kill it, like you said, 221 total yards. But, man, whenever they needed a third down conversion, whenever they needed to score, whenever they needed to do those
Baltimore
things.
played incredible game.
Yeah.
But Lamar Jackson kept turning the ball over. I mean, if you look at those stats, over 400 yards in total offense, 265 yards rushing. I mean, you look at those stats, over 35 minutes time of possession. That played perfectly into their hands. Lamar Jackson just kept throwing the ball into the other people's hands. A pick 6, and then two lost fumbles, 3 total. That's an issue.
It's just funny that you mentioned that about how it does lie on the quarterback's back, and of course, all these statistics prove it. But over and over again, we're used to hearing defense wins championships, defense wins games. Well, this is the exception.
Well, Lamar just puts his defense in a tough hole whenever he's turning the ball
There's
over.
no more
like
trust.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on?
Pittsburgh right now is the best team in the NFL, in my opinion.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear. Oh, I can now. Okay.
But Pittsburgh's the
reason
best. I mean, obviously because they're the last undefeated team, but Pittsburgh's the best team in the NFL, offense, defense.
They've had a fairly easy schedule, but they've won the big games that they've played in, and they have a pretty easy schedule
on the
coming
road.
up.
They've played the big games on the road and won them.
Pittsburgh looks legit.
Yep.
And they're injury free.
Well, that too.
That is huge,
That's
right?
huge,
right
yeah,
now in the
absolutely.
NFL, it's almost like fantasy football. If you make it to the playoffs with a healthy team,
yes,
you might win.
Yes.
And if you're in the NFC East. So let's go to
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So who else was on the road? that took the W? The Vikings. Yes, the Vikings
I did
won
not see that
against
one.
the Packers.
What an interesting game.
It was so interesting. So the Vikings, Dalvin Cook with 4 touchdowns.
All of them.
Yep,
You want to talk about somebody?
over 200 yards.
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody. I know you're going to get to your, but I was just going to say, you talk about
I knew
somebody.
we were gonna get there.
You're talking about somebody losing a football game like Lamar Jackson. He won that game. Like Delvin Cook was
Delvin
the guy
Cook
yesterday.
is healthy, he's the best player on the field. His health is a major issue, but when he's going,
he 100% won that game by
that
himself
guy's
yesterday.
phenomenal,
Anyway,
man.
keep going.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So, 28-22 Vikings over the Packers. I don't know what is going on with Aaron Rodgers. Like, he has no protection, but they had a chance in the fourth quarter. And then it could have happened on a Hail Mary pass, like right there. And then, boom, of course, he gets tackled from behind and sacked from behind.
Devontae Adams scored every one of their touchdowns.
Yep.
And Dalvin Cook scored every one of them. And only 2 guys scored touchdowns in that whole game, and it was 28-22.
It's crazy because the Packers gave up so many yards on defense. Why can't they stop that run?
The Packers are good when they're good, and they're really bad when they're bad.
They are.
And unfortunately this was a division game, and these two teams hate each other, so there's a lot of things that can happen during these division games. So Minnesota came in with a game plan, run Dalvin Cook, and, man, did it work. We're going to see what happens. I think they play again, and whether or not they can – the Packers, what is it? Trade deadline's tomorrow, correct?
The trade deadline is tomorrow, and that's what I was getting to next. So you look at their team, and you're like, okay, what do they need to fix? Do they need to do something here?
Yes,
they do.
Like 100%.
When you're throwing to a tight end because you have no one else, and then you also are like, do you choose defensive players? Do you choose some
Defense.
wide receivers? What
They
do
can
you
score.
do here?
I think the Packers can score. They got the number 1 receiver in the league by far in Devontae Adams, and they just need some defense.
One of the best running backs, Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
One of the best quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers. Offensive line is beat up a little bit. I think that influences that some, like it did on that last play of the game whenever – now, of course, he's scrambling around, but, I mean, he gets hit. But, yeah,
What do
they
you
need
trade
help
up
on
for?
defense. I mean, I'm trying to look for somebody on defense.
Defense.
I'm trying to
we need a
somebody
cornerback.
defense.
Or not we. I'm not a Packers. I've never been
Don't
to
say you
Green Bay.
cheesehead.
Yeah, I'm not. But I would say, they need a cornerback and a linebacker. And that would help them because, look, they can still win 10, 12 games very, very easily. Just, they're going to need some help in the playoffs.
What I'm confused about is that the Packers, yes, they're playing. The Bucs are playing tonight. They lost to the Bucs, and now they lost to the Vikings. What does this say about their identity? They're 2 completely different teams.
They
the
have
Bucs
no
and the
defense.
Vikings.
Well,
it just
think
goes back to that strictly.
but I think they don't have. I think not having Aaron Jones. I think that hurts them a little bit. They've had some guys that have filled in for him pretty admirably, but not having Aaron Jones out there hurts. But yeah, their defense.
Aaron
their
Jones
defense
led
is
the
not-
league. Excuse me. Aaron Jones led the league in touchdowns last year, and now they have Devontae Adams, who leads the league in touchdowns this year.
Yeah, it's not an offensive problem.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I would say get some defensive help.
I think we might be frozen
Yeah,
again,
we're
guys.
frozen again. Damn, dude.
Garrett just said, he just said video pause. Let's just skip the Cowboys on this week's rundown.
I'm agree with him.
We
There's
still
not much
got
to talk
audio that
about.
we'll have to send off. So
There's not much to talk
Oh,
about.
I think we're good. We're good.
actually, you need to thank some people before we get going, since we're good.
Oh yeah, we do. You're right.
We do need to thank some people. Of course, you mentioned Joe Applewhite earlier. He has been with us from day one. We also want to thank Roy Stanton with Hybrid Technologies Group. When it comes to reliability on your phones, your cable services, surveillance cameras, cloud services, anything, you name it, he will have you covered at 832-336-1201. That is Roy Stanton with Hybrid Technologies Groups. And whenever you mention Sports with Balls, you'll get a little percentage off. So you're welcome. Go call Roy Stanton.
You know, it was good to see Mark yesterday. You know, Mark from
Yesterday?
Construction
You
Concepts.
were hanging out with him yesterday?
Thursday. I'm sorry.
No, you're
and you know
good.
what he says normally? He's out with the family listening to our show.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. Yeah.
it was
No,
good to see
Mark,
him.
you were so awesome. Like, I love getting to meet you. Like, it
Yeah.
was so cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else that wants to come out here and join us, like,
Yeah.
we love it.
I'm sure
I know
Christians
tonight
would
is
love
not
it too.
like.
I'm sure Christians will love it also.
No, but Mark, you're awesome. Thanks so much for being part of the show.
Yeah, so Mark and Josh, Construction Concepts, they are changing corporate culture one design at a time, from hospitality, corporate, luxury retail, and medical facilities. Their team of experts can update or create a space that exceeds your expectations. You all right? Give them a call at 713-589-2682
Oh, man.
or buildathouston.com.
It's still on over here. They might just got you off. I'm watching it.
He's
so
still going.
I'm
damn.
done.
Oh my gosh.
I'm done.
That was like a belch.
was.
Now can we get to the Cowboys? Or no, let's just run down. Let's run down the scores in there because I don't have a ton to say about the Cowboys. Look, it's getting kind of old.
I mean, what can you say?
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll like you said, we'll run
I mean,
through
we can
the
do
scores.
it. I don't care. We can talk about the Cowboys.
No, let's just run through the scores because
there
there's
were
a
just
lot.
a lot of surprising scores and a lot of surprising scores / upsets this week. So let's just get into all of them.
Go.
So we got the Rams versus the Dolphins, and you mentioned the Dolphins earlier being the team to beat. So 28-17 Dolphins was the score. Now they're 4-3. The Rams are still 5-3.
Talk about a team with an identity problem.
Yeah.
The Rams, man.
I know.
Wow, they play so good
Up
for
and
3
down,
quarters, but they'll have one quarter where they just implode, man. Like, and
Yeah.
it's so weird to watch. You're like, they look so good. They look like they could be a team that goes deep into the playoffs, and then you're like, what the hell just happened?
Well, what's crazy about that game?
Their offensive line is ridiculously bad.
So I don't want to get lost in the weeds here, but I just want to go over this because this is it's kind of like the Cowboys game, which we'll get to. But so if I told you a score is 28-17 and I told you the Rams had 31 first downs,
Cool.
471 total yards, they were 340 net yards, Goff threw for 355 yards, you'd be like, oh, shit, Rams won that. And
Yeah.
the Dolphins had total yards. Dolphins had 145 yards.
Yep. Hey, listen, Tua.
And you would hear that and you'd be like, oh, the LA Rams.
Tua
100%.
only Tua threw for less than 100 yards.
threw
something
for
like-
93 yards.
Yeah.
93 yards.
They
had
did-
one touchdown.
They had a defensive touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown, both in
Yes.
one quarter. Which really, that's what I'm saying. The Rams they just implode. It's so awkward.
But here's the deal about Goff. He threw the ball 61 times. He
Yeah.
threw the football
God, dude.
61
that's
times.
some Baker Mayfield type numbers from last year.
Like you said, Jeff. That's what are they? Are they a passing team
Yeah.
or are they a running team? 65.9 QB rating. Like that's
Yee.
terrible.
I think that's something about the coaching right there.
Well, McVay's a great coach. I think the problem is you got to remember Brian Flores is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. He was the defensive coordinator of the Patriots when they played the Rams in the Super Bowl and made the Rams look, average.
Yeah.
As far as that defensive game plan. But I tell you what, if that defense plays like that, Tua improves, does better, Dolphins could be the team to beat in the AFC East.
Yep. All
There
right.
you go. There you go. And another game, which this was not any upset whatsoever. The Jets versus the Chiefs. It was 35-9
Yeah.
Chiefs. I don't know what's going to help this New York team.
Nothing
Getting
there.
to the end of the season.
Yeah,
Getting to the end of the season.
Week
See what they can do
16.
there.
Week 16.
So
That was
we
a
got-
minus 20 spread on that game. I was like, go all over that, and of
Yeah,
course they got
is.
it.
They got it.
Yeah.
So we have the Colts versus the Lions, and it was 41-21 Colts.
I think that's
was-
a big win on the Colts' part.
And this was the Colts team that I've been looking to see all year.
Yeah, the Colts are another team, man. They're weird.
Well,
dude.
Phillip Rivers finally just went off. Like, I mean, he had 3 or 4 touchdowns. He was keeping up with Mahomes' numbers in the first half. Like, they both had 200-something yards passing with 3 touchdowns in the first half. It was a blowout from the very beginning. Two long touchdown passes to Naheem Hines from out of the backfield, wheel routes, both of them wheel routes.
Yeah.
What
How
you-
about
what
those
you
end
threw
zone
to-
celebrations, though? Did you see that?
Yeah, dude, with the backflips.
Oh my
The
gosh, the
gymnast.
standing
Amazing.
or no, it wasn't a standing full. He did a round off full, and I was just like,
Yeah, whatever.
What?
Whatever you just said.
That's it. That's what I was
They
going to say.
showed it a couple
he did a
times
round
on
off
Red
full.
Zone.
If
Like,
you would have
I-
said that, Grant, if you would have said,
I
"Oh,
would
did
have
you
tripped
see the
you out,
round off
dude.
full?"
I
I'd
would have
been like,
tripped you out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a round off full.
You
I
mean
knew
even
that.
if you weren't a
I loved
cheerleader or a
it.
gymnast?
No, I wasn't.
Well, you have daughters, and I have one, and you might have known it, but it was
Yeah.
still, I still would have been like, "Ooh,
But yeah,
okay."
that round off full was pretty amazing.
So that was the highlight. The round off full was the highlight of that game.
For sure. And then we had the Raiders and the Browns. 16-6 Raiders. Woo! Talk about not putting up any points.
well, that win though.
Yeah,
Like that win was crazy
Whoa.
in
Yeah.
that game.
I
That win
mean, it was
nuts.
20 to 30 mile an hour wind, steady on the field.
Yes.
Luckily, the kicker for the Las Vegas Raiders was actually pretty decent. They were kicking it 6 to 7 yards left or right of the field goal post and having it hooked back in. It was wild to watch.
He missed one. It went straight, and then all of a sudden it just started going over this way. It was crazy.
But good for Gruden. Big win for them.
Yep. And Titans versus Bengals. Now this one was
that was surprising.
Pretty surprising. Sorry, this keeps going out on me.
Yeah, that was surprising.
This was probably the most surprising game of the day, for
Right,
sure.
You got me.
Considering
so
that score.
For sure, 31-20 Bengals. So Joe Burrow this season, even though his team hasn't showed out and it's only their second win of the season, he's so far has 67 completion percentage. He's thrown for 2,272 yards, 11 touchdowns, had 5 interceptions, and 3 rushing touchdowns. He's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that some of the guys are wanting to jump ship on Cincinnati like they are. I get that they're not very good right now. Their record's not good. But, man, you have a big future ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's a big guy, big arm.
Yes.
Their offensive line is crappy. Look, Tyler Boyd, AJ Green's old and always hurt, and what's the other receivers down there?
John Brown.
No, not John Brown. I forget his name, but Cincinnati's got they got a franchise quarterback. I like Burrow. Burrow's throwing 67%. That's phenomenal.
For a rookie quarterback, that's amazing on that team.
I mean, look, he's throwing 60 times a game.
Yeah.
Go Cincinnati for a little while. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, I wouldn't bet with Cincinnati. But that was a huge win versus Tennessee.
Wasn't it so funny how earlier this year everyone was like, "No, Joe, don't do it. Don't go to the Bengals," because he's going to be the first pick. So obviously, I'm going to
give, if he can turn that team around and they can be productive and successful, I'm going to give Joe Burrow all the credit in the world because not a lot of people win there. And if that dude can end up winning at Cincinnati, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And he's got some injuries. Mixon's been in and out with injuries, so they tossed the ball around with him, and for him to have 67% completion.
I mean, he was 26 to 37 yesterday. That's really good.
That is.
And so we'll go to another game that had another rookie quarterback that is just outstanding, and he has been all season long. Chargers versus the Broncos, and unfortunately, this rookie quarterback didn't pull it out. It's 30-31. We're talking about Justin Herbert, your guy, Jeff.
Yeah, I love Herbert. I mean, these afternoon games, all three of them were phenomenal.
They were great games.
They were. The thing is, you look at this guy, and you look at this team, this Chargers team. They had 3 offensive linemen out, third in offense in the league, but they couldn't find a way to win. However, another guy getting it done, Justin Herbert. Is he their franchise quarterback?
Oh, dude.
Justin. Well,
who are you taking? You taking Herbert or are you taking Burrow?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That is
I would probably go Burrow right now because in my opinion, I think if you put Burrow on that Chargers team, I think the Chargers would be playing better than they are. Not because I think Herbert's playing bad. I just think Burrow's playing really well with a bad team.
Yeah, he is. He is, but Herbert's coming. Both of them are built the same.
Yeah.
Big guys, big arms.
Yeah.
Not the most mobile. I think I would take Burrow. He's a little quicker, a little bit more agile than Herbert is.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both have huge careers.
Yeah.
But that was surprising though. I didn't think
Denver came back, man.
Yeah.
That was a good comeback win for them and for what's his name? The quarterback. Drew Lock. Yeah, I was gonna say Holt. Good for Drew Lock. It was good to see emotion out of him because it hasn't been all rainbows and sunshine down there in Denver either.
Hasn't.
So yeah, good for him. Cowboys.
Are we going to go to that?
Before we get to the Cowboys, we had a really fun 49ers-Seahawks game where
wasn't fun for San Francisco.
I know, it wasn't fun for San Francisco. But it was good seeing the Seahawks.
Lee, San Francisco, man. That is, injury-riddled, and you can forget about them. And remember I told you when we were doing the show on Thursday, the lock-in bet, this was it, pick Seattle because San Francisco is so beat up. And next week, I don't know what the lines are. Well, come check us out Thursday, and we're going to tell you the games for this coming up weekend. But you can bet whoever San Francisco is playing, bet against them. They're beat up, man.
Yeah.
And you go for the Seahawks, and I'll tell you why.
They're not even at full strength yet.
DK Metcalf.
So here's a question. DK Metcalf the best receiver in the NFL right now?
No. Devontae Adams is. And listen,
people still argue
if it wasn't for Seattle, that bad call against Arizona, the pass interference call, they'd be undefeated. And they're not even at full strength yet. Seattle might be the Super Bowl pick, like here in the next couple weeks.
It's
People
just that
still have
defense.
Hopkins as their number one wide receiver.
Oh,
Well, I think that's based on history, but I'm talking about right
Yeah.
now in the NFL.
too.
Man, I'd have to say DK Metcalf is the best
I
receiver
go
in the NFL.
Devontae Adams.
I mean, as far as just, well, I mean, the best kind of ability to have is availability. And
definitely not-
Devontae Adams doesn't play.
It's definitely not Amari Cooper.
No, it's not. Are we going to do that? Are we just going to keep going back to the
just
Cowboys?
taking shots.
I mean, geez, man.
Shots fired. The bar
I
is
tell you what,
over
the
there,
Texans.
guys.
I've said it last week. The Texans are lucky that the Cowboys are so bad because everybody's
Agreed.
ignoring the fact that the Texans are terrible.
I even said at the top of the hour, like I said before the show, like right when we started, that Texans might get lucky and win one because
Because the
Jaguars
Jags
have
and their
a
rookie quarterback.
Mr.
Wow.
And it's Texans minus 6.5, by the way. I looked it up.
I think I'd take that.
So, see?
Minus 6.5.
They could take it.
I don't know. We'll see on Thursday when we mention all of our lines. Cowboys game.
Are we going there yet?
No,
All right.
sure. The Saints and Bears. You wanted? I mean,
I mean,
that was a good game.
3-point
Saints and
difference.
Bears.
that was a fantastic game.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
you
good.
talked about the Bears earlier, Jeff, and you mentioned how, okay, are they
They're
their
the
identity?
worst. They are the worst 5-2 or 5-3 5-3 team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's there's even talk about them putting. They pulled Trubisky and he was 3-0,
They're talking about putting him back.
and now they're talking about putting Trubisky back in. I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about a team with zero identity, no running backs, barely receivers. Like
Yeah.
these guys, this team.
well, how about
I
that?
can't believe that they pulled out 5 wins. I just can't.
How about the receiver that hit that dude that got kicked out
Oh,
of the
yeah, and
game?
then
Did
the
you
fight.
see that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't see it, but I got notifications
Matt,
of
do you
it.
see Matt Nagy? Oh, I didn't even see what was going on. I was just,
man.
dude, yeah, okay.
Well, Matt Nagy today in a press conference, he wasn't happy. He said a lot about it. He was actually suspended by the NFL.
The first
2
swing,
games.
though, the first swing on that was not to hit him. He was trying to rip. Apparently, the other guy had ripped his mouthpiece off his helmet,
And
so
spit
he
at
was
him.
trying to rip the mouthpiece back off of him. But the second one,
Oh.
full on punch in the
Oh,
face.
dude. It was brutal, man.
So yeah, the Bears are man. That is, I cannot believe that team is 5-3, man.
No.
It's unbelievable.
No. Bears are bad.
Now, we
Yeah, Sunday night
finally
game.
go to the Dallas Cowboys. They fall to their longtime rival, 23-9, the Eagles.
Can we call them something else other than the Dallas Cowboys? Because that ain't the Dallas Cowboys.
The
Who-
Cowboy,
so
the
it's
Dallas
Alice-
football team.
It's the Alice Cowboys because there's no defense. Although,
well, to defensive
Raj-
credit, they played
There's
good
2
last
L's in
night.
there.
I was going to say, Raj just said, I was happy we played defense, 3 sacks, an interception,
It's crazy that there was
Equally-
that,
helpless offense.
that Carson Wentz had all those turnovers and there were still 0 touchdowns. I mean, unfortunately, Dallas is what Dallas is right now. There's no other way to put it. They're also selling off players. They've pretty much cashed in on the season. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. And Dak's last quarter that he played before he got injured, he scored more points in 1 quarter than the Cowboys have in the last 3 total games. What? That is absolutely insanity. Like for a team with this much talent on wide
I know.
receivers. I mean,
Well-
I would just say go and throw the ball down the field.
I agree with you as far as the talent on the outside. The problem is the talent on the inside
Yeah.
is not playing. Your left tackle, I know I'll keep going back to it. Your left tackle's not playing. Your right tackle's not playing. Your center's not playing. Your left guard is not an NFL starting left guard, in my opinion. Finally, they had Zach Martin back last night. But yeah, I said that last night. So the Cowboys had more first downs. They had more total yards. They had less turnovers. They had the possession of the football the longest, and they lost by 2 touchdowns.
It was. I mean, this went on for 3 or 4 of the games yesterday. It was it was a very entertaining day of football for those exact stats. I mean, teams were throwing the ball over the place, racking up yards, and losing. And you had snow, you had wind, you had rain, sleet. Like yesterday's football games were fantastic. Like I had fun watching football yesterday. If there were fans, that would have been phenomenal.
You have all the makings of what, like if somebody says you win time of possession, you take the ball away more, you should win the football game. Not for
And
Dallas.
Carson Wentz turns it over 4 times.
That's another thing, man. Carson Wentz. I don't know if Carson Wentz is really good or if he's really bad. I really don't know.
Man, are you excited? If you're a Philadelphia Philly fan, are you excited?
Well,
no, I wouldn't be.
I think that's why they drafted Hurd. In my opinion, I think
I
that's
was
why
going
they
to say,
drafted
talking
Hurd.
about, so the trade deadline is tomorrow, and you talked about Dallas Cowboys just basically giving up on the season. Jerry Jones and the team, the organization, they were one of the first ones who were like, making decisions. Like we all got the notifications a couple weeks ago whenever Dak was out with his ankle.
Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. So I'm not going to sit here and
Well, I'm going to say positive. I'm going to be
Grant on.
positive though. The defense played well yesterday. Like Raj said, the defense they only had 222 total yards yesterday. Defense played well for the first time all season. Granted, it was against Philadelphia. They had people out. I get all that. But D played well yesterday.
Well, we're running up against it. So real quick, Texas Longhorns win big yesterday. So
Saturday.
41-34.
Michigan State loses to Michigan. Dude, Harbaugh, man. What is-
Michigan State beat Michigan.
I mean, Michigan State beats Michigan. What? Harbaugh, man. Is he even a college coach anymore? Should he just move on?
Well, you know what's crazy about him is that, in my opinion, when you look at his record at Michigan's not bad. It's just the problem is
Dude,
he's 1-6 at
big-
home
yeah, dude,
against Ohio State
Yep.
and Michigan State.
And that's where you make your money.
That's where his problem is. But I mean, he's 67-48 in his career, 716
That's not
win
that
percentage.
good for a stadium that holds 107,000
For what they
people
pay
for
for what
Michigan.
they pay him. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
Exactly. North Carolina, who I thought was amazing, lost for the second time in a row or second week in a row. So looks like they're going to not be going to one of the major bowls. And Big Ten's back in and playing. And
So hold on just a second. What you're saying is Mac Brown has a really high draft, or a really high recruiting class, really talented players, and he can't win. That's crazy. Mac Brown's never done that.
would
first time he's ever done
rather
that.
have? Would you want Mac Brown right now?
No,
Okay.
I
well,
wouldn't.
that's interesting.
I wouldn't
All
want
right.
Mac Brown right now. There's
But
a
yeah.
reason they got rid of him.
Fine. You got some history?
I do. Can I do that now?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Why not?
You got 4 minutes.
Oh, we're looking at the clock. Okay. So first off, we got to thank somebody. We got to thank Tosin, who's responsible for this. Him and Texas AV Productions. They are your event partner for all things live production, setup, designing, installation, corporate events, concerts, and touring support. If you
What
mention
was
Sports
that?
with Balls, you receive a free consultation plus 10% off your total bill.
Good here.
Call them at 281-241-7520. Check them out online at txavpro.com.
I
Boom.
love
If
it.
you didn't know, that's how
Snap.
you check a mic without
Snap.
saying mic check.
Yeah.
So
well,
today's
now
November.
You just started something.
Yeah, correct. So today's November
It's going in
2nd.
and out for me.
We got 2 months left in this year. Thank God. Can you believe it's November? That's crazy.
Yeah. Go
What?
November, December. Hurry up.
Correct, yes. So November 2nd. I had to bring this up because we're not all about just the regular sports, football, basketball, baseball. 1895 was the first, did you know, the first organized auto race in the United States was run in Chicago. 6 cars
Nice.
race over 52-mile lakefront course. 2 of them finish. 2 of them. 2 cars finish, but 1895. November 2nd, 1972. Did you know that Philadelphia Phillies pitcher Steve Carlton is unanimously selected National League Cy Young Award winner? Get this. He won 27 games for the Phillies, who ended up winning 57 that year.
Damn.
Speaking of Cy Young, can I just come out? They just had
I didn't say anything about Cy Young, but you can go ahead and say
I was
whatever.
like,
Oh, you didn't?
No, that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
that-
It literally keeps going in and out.
Oh, mine is too.
I thought you said Cy Young.
No, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, come on. You said something. I want to hear it.
Some of the finalists were announced. With
Oh, yeah.
Christian Javier, Kyle Lewis, Luis Robert. I'm trying to go here. And some other guys, but continue with the history. Sorry,
right.
this keeps going in and out.
No problem. November 2nd, 1974. Did you know that Atlanta Braves trade Major League Baseball home run king Hank Aaron to the Milwaukee Brewers
Damn.
for outfielder Dave May? So you know that if Hank Aaron can get drafted or can get traded, anybody can get traded. November 2nd, 1975, local news here. I thought I'd bring this up. The first sports event was held at the Summit Arena in Houston.
Waiting to see if you could do that. I was waiting to see if you grabbed that.
The Houston Rockets beat the Milwaukee Bucks. And do you know who scored 24 points that game? Rudy T.
Rudy Tomjanovich. Yeah.
Rudy T did, yeah.
Right before he got his whole head face.
The heart of a champion.
Kermit Washington,
yeah,
wasn't it?
just blew his face up.
The heart of a champion.
November 2nd. This is how talented the Oakland A's were back then. 1988, A's shortstop Walt Weiss won the AL Rookie of the Year. That was his 3rd year in a row that Oakland won Rookie of the Year. 1986, Jose Canseco. 1987, Mark McGuire. 1988, Walt Weiss.
Yep.
That was a talented team. And then, like you were talking about earlier, November 2nd, 2016, Chicago Cubs beat the Cleveland Indians 8-7 in Game 7 in Cleveland. First Cubs title in 108 years.
Great story by
That was
Lester, man.
today?
That was today.
Oh, wow.
Ben Zobrist was your MVP for that.
Yep.
1997, Eric Metcalf of the San Diego Chargers returns a punt for touchdowns of 85 and 67 yards. He was one of only 2 players to return a punt for TDs twice in a game.
Hey,
And
some
now-
good
and now you
history.
know.
7:20 on the dot, y'all. Listen, we're sorry about the
Technical difficulties.
technical
Just happens.
difficulties. It's
all
part
good.
of what goes on. But
Part of what we
We'll
do.
try to get it better for you on Thursday. We'll be back at 7:00 on Thursday
Lauren won't
with
be here.
all your
Lauren won't be here.
Lauren, you're not gonna be here.
No, she won't be here Thursday.
We'll have another guest. Maybe.
I mean, I
I'll
don't
send
even
them
know
your
if we
way.
should even come
yeah.
since Lauren's not going to be here.
Really?
Let's just
In the
cancel
show.
it.
But,
Let's just cancel it.
Oh.
Let's just cancel
Enjoy
it.
the game. It's 0-0. It just started. And like I said, we'll see you guys Thursday. For Jeff Michael, Lauren Leo, Grant Miles, this
Hey.
is Sports with Balls.
We got a lot of baseball talk coming up soon.
Yep, we're out.
Lone Star.
Dying, trunk hitting hard when I swing through H-time. Cup full of oil and an orange kush sweet. Cause this is how we do it in that 713. My candy red paint cocked up on foe. Shocking and body rocking cause the south side ho. DJ Screw got me falling asleep. This is how we do it in that 713.